So tell me what's going on with you.
Running around trying to catch my tail, working towards getting the MDDC thing working,
Okay.
and that's looking pretty promising.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been doing traveling with your stuff? You've been doing your seminars via Zoom?
No, in person. Matter of fact, DFW is not this weekend, but the next one for part 3, if you would like to go.
Yeah, what is part 3 on?
Adjusting, manipulation, mobilization of cranials, extremities, chest cage, vertebra, pelvis.
Testicles?
Yeah, maybe if you got them rock hard.
Yeah. If they're that hard, they probably need to be adjusted, don't they?
That could be.
So that's the weekend of the 15th. Yeah, let me check and see if we don't have it open.
Okay.
Have it open. Got it. All right. So going hunting this year, dove hunting. Are you going to go dove hunting?
What weekend?
Well, I got a dove lease that is about an hour south of here.
Yeah, but what weekend?
Every weekend.
Every weekend.
Yep. Thursdays.
Well, I might be able to go during the week, but not Thursdays because I do this on Thursdays.
Well,
It'd have to be probably a Monday for me. I might be able to do it then.
yeah, I'll be working on Mondays. Well, take a look if you want to see if you want to hunt a half a day. You can hunt in the morning and be done by 11, 12 o'clock.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, we got another participant here. Welcome. And go ahead and type in on the chat there. There we go. Hey, we got a chat box and people box there. You seeing this?
I don't see a chat box.
You don't? Okay. You don't see a chat box on yours?
I'm looking around.
Okay.
I see comments.
Okay, do you see what I just brought up on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I see at the bottom of my screen. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're probably going to have several people come in as it ramps up here. So go ahead and muffle yourself if you would.
Like put a mask on.
There you go. As Joy says, stifle yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, what's really holding you back in your business? When we look at what's really going on in your business, it's important to look at marketing. How's the word getting out about what your business is about? Are your clients talking you up or talking you down? Are your employees talking you up or talking you down? Now, here's a big one. We never really think about that. But, if you have some bad employees there, and we've talked about that in previous Thursday talks, you need to get rid of them. You do not need something negative going on in your office. And I've seen so many bad employees just drag the office down, with their bad attitude. We've all had some that we've had to get rid of, unfortunately. May have nothing to do with us. It may have something to do with what's going on at home, but they are carrying that attitude in the office, and that can't happen. And if you have an employee that doesn't believe in what you're doing, they should not be there. You might want to keep them long enough to see if you can get them to believe, But if it still isn't happening, you got to get them out of there because they're going to be talking you down instead of talking you up. Now, there are different ways to run ads on the internet, on the local newspaper, on television, on radio, on social media. And we're going to be covering those things at different times. But, these can be things that are holding you back. But, we've talked about before, it's very difficult. I talk with people across the board about just getting the calls in. And out of every 10 calls that come in, the average office, only 7 to 8 of them actually set an appointment. And out of those 10 that set an appointment, only 7 or 8 actually show up. The rest actually don't. And then out of those that show up, now we're down to about half roughly. Only about half of those actually follow through to any big degree with what you recommend to them. So basically, you can get all the calls you want, but if you're dropping it from there down to the follow through, that's a whole different issue. And that's some of the stuff that we want to discuss as time goes on, which we've been covered. So just getting the calls in, everybody thinks, well, I got to get new patients. Well, hey, calls are just one part of it. Matter of fact, when I had a radio show for years, I had other businesses call me because they noticed that I was on for a large number of years. And they took it right down the same thing. Well, yeah, you get that number of calls, but how many actually set an appointment? Out of those, how many actually show up? Out of those, how many do you actually make a good sale to? Okay. So business owners realize these things, but we as chiropractors, as doctors in general, I think we don't really seem to look at that. We're just consumed with getting new patients. And we realize to some degree that it is a numbers game, but we're not really looking at all the factors of those numbers. So what else do we need to look at? Well, how clean is your place of business? That's a big thing, especially the restrooms. Now, I had a doctor that I'm mentoring, and he asked me to come look at his office, and he had made some changes I'd suggested, and I had to go to the restroom. I go in the restroom. The doorknob was dirty on the inside. It had big black paths where people had been rubbing on the door. There was a semicircle of just black gunk there. You look at the toilet, it was like not clean on the inside of that toilet bowl. Maybe right where the water was, but the rest of it was like brown, and it looked pretty gross. And one of the things that you know is that, especially if a woman walks in a restroom, hey, I tell you what, if that restroom isn't clean, they don't want to be in that office, no matter whose it is. Okay. And so restroom is a big thing. I tell people, have somebody come in your office and give it the white glove treatment. And, just what does that mean? Well, you got to have somebody that's totally dissociated with your office. I want you to just come in. I want you to look at my office and tell me things that you just see that, need improvement, just looks wise. And you don't want somebody that because they may be just trying to be nice to you. Okay. Somebody totally dissociated is going to be pretty honest with you. So when you're in the middle of something, everything seems to look okay because it got a little bit messier and a little bit messier and a little bit dirtier, a little bit dirtier. And it was so slow that you really didn't even notice. And now it's a big mess and you never noticed it. However, somebody new to the office notices, and it reflects directly on you and adversely affects the perception of you. So getting somebody just totally divergent to come and walk in your office, and look at everything. Look at the windows, look at the chairs, look at the carpet, look at the baseboards, look at the cabinets and the shelves that things are on. Look at everything. And you're going to be surprised, because there's going to be things that they're going to be noticing. How kept are you? Do you are you looking scruffy as a doctor? How do your shoes look? How do your general clothes look? Uh, how are you smelling? Do you have cologne? Do you have perfume? Is it overwhelming? Is it just enough, just to muffle the normal body smells? Uh, Guess what? Those things count. People notice them. Those first maybe 15 seconds are really, really a big thing. There have been books written on such things as that. Now, are you or your staff dressing in such a way that's overdone and maybe too much makeup or suggestive? I had two women, working for me, and this one just started wearing low cut uh, lab jackets. And I mean, she was, pretty voluptuous. And some patients started making comments about it. And I'm going, oh, for some reason, I was just blanking it out. So I had to go and tell her, I said, look, you need to cover those things up. So I had to wear a turtleneck under that. And you have to look at those things. Are they wearing perfume or cologne that's overwhelming? How generally does the office smell? That can be a very big thing. Is it a musty smell or scenty smell, or other that may offend the person walking in? But is it a scent that may set off asthma or other conditions? And, as healthcare professionals, we have to look at that. And we have to be very, very aware of things of that nature. I was talking with somebody about home sales, and she happened to, be a realtor. And she said one of the things that realtors do in order to help sell the homes is to get rid of the musty smells that are there, because typically when they're, say, left alone, especially in the summer and the spring, it gets humid and you start getting, some funguses and molds and stuff like that, and you get that. So she said what they did was they would take coffee grounds and they would put them in different strategic spots in different rooms, and the coffee grounds would have a fairly good aroma, and they would basically submerge the other smells that were not too good, that came in that way. What about messy desks? A little bit of messiness may be okay, but hey, if somebody walks in your office and they see stuff all over the place, that may be okay at home, may be okay if your room is closed all the time. But what about the front desk where, the front desk people are things where people see things? Do they look neat and tidy? Do they look really messy? Are there dust on surfaces? And we may dust at certain times, but we never really look at the top of the books on those shelves, and they can be caked with dust. The fans, ceiling fans, those things. And I've walked into offices and they had like literally a quarter inch of dust caked on the top of the fans. And nobody ever thinks of looking at those things. And we think of changing the air filters, but we never think of looking at the top of those. And a patient glances up and they can see it. That's stuff that we just don't think to look at. But somebody newly walking in the office, they kind of glance around and they start to see things. They see spots on the carpet, that should have been cleaned up or at least covered up with something. Are the windows and doors clean? Just like that restroom door that I was talking about. I walked into doctors' offices and the front door, the doorknob and all around the doorknob is filthy. And nobody was looking at that. Are the walls clean? You just back off. You become familiar with it and you look at it every day and it just kind of escapes you. But somebody coming in and look at it, they look around, they go, oh my gosh, just like you walking in somebody else's home. They've become very complacent with it. They've been there for 40 years. They really don't see it. They're used to it. You walk in, you think, wow, what a junk heap. Or somebody walks in your home, same type of deal. Lights, light switches, door jambs, all those things. And I bet, every one of you that are, watching right now have walked into somebody's office and nobody ever cleans the light switches, or the box around the plate around the light switches and the door jamb right next to it. It's caked on there. We just don't think about it. We flip the switch on and off. We open the door. We just kind of don't think about that for some reason. But that can make a big impression on somebody first walking in that office. What about the parking lot? We walk out there, and I mean, you need to, every time you walk in and out of that office, you see trash, or somebody that works for you see trash, by golly, pick it up. We kind of see that, but then there's people, they're walking in your office and they're carrying a soda, a Coke or a Pepsi or Dr. Pepper, and they spill it on there. Now you got dried soda on the sidewalk. We just don't think we just kind of look at it and we go gross when we walk in the office, and we don't think about people looking at those things. But they look at it and they judge us by that, and they walk around it and they're going, wonder why they're not cleaning that up. These creep up on us, they become a part of the scenery, but jump out at those who are new to the office or the business. And what about language used? Language, some people, especially younger people, they have brought on language that's kind of normal to them, but somebody else sitting out there that's older, that's kind of offensive to them. And I've had people work in my office. I had to turn them away. It's not that they weren't good or efficient, but nobody could understand their speech. They had such a heavy accent, like Spanish accent. And, if the people that are coming there or on the phone couldn't understand, I had one lady I could understand, and she had a heavy Spanish accent, but I had a patient that spoke fluent Spanish, and she couldn't understand her. I work with a lot of athletes all over the world, and I had to learn how to key in. But I was totally surprised when this other patient who spoke fluent Spanish said, I can't understand her. Her accent is way too heavy. I could understand her, but she couldn't. I had to do it. She was really nice. She had a little baby. She was single. I had to let her go because people calling in or even standing at the front desk could not understand it. And if you think about it, we all have people that call us from India, from Indonesia, from wherever. And I just had somebody call me last week on the phone. I said, I'm so sorry. I can't understand your accent. And they just hung up on me. I'm going, well, that was really nice. That really, tries to get my business. But you really have to look at that and understand that the majority of your patients are going to listen to that, and they are going to form an opinion about you, either good or bad. And that's what it is. It's the impression. What about how loud the speaker is? Some people are just plain loud. Some people aren't loud enough. And you have to make them understandable no matter what it is, but not overly overbearing with how forceful their voice it is. And is it pleasant or is it deadpan? Hey, this is Dr. B's office. How are you doing? How can I help you? Oh, you want to set a new appointment? Okay, well, let me get the information from you. Said, this is Dr. Bonebreak's office. How may I help you? Oh, you'd like to set an appointment? Okay. Well, first I need this. So you got this voice inflection. You have this cheeriness instead of the deadpan. So just that first impression in the voice inflection, gosh, this is why only 7 or 8 out of 10 even, set an appointment when they call in. It's the person on the other side of the phone is not acting really cheery. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's the way all they are there. I don't even know that I want to go there. So they don't set an appointment, or they set an appointment and they don't show up because the voice didn't sound attractive to them. Okay. Now, what about the countenance? Do your staff smile at all? Too little, too much? Are you overdoing it? Or are you underdoing it? Is the pleasant speech appearing forced or planned or rote? So when they have the new patient information sheet in front of them and they have to get this certain amount of information, are they saying, okay, I need your phone number. I need you to spell your name out, please. I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Would you please repeat it? You know, and it sounds like they're reading, okay? And you can't have that. It has to sound like, oh, they need this information, but it more or less sounds spontaneous at the same time. And this makes a huge impression. Just think of when you've called somewhere or somebody's called you, you know, to get your business on the phone, how you felt when you heard that. Are hands clean? Are nails clean or dirty? This is a big one that a lot of people miss. Dirty nails, dirty hands. They've been out, they came in, they didn't wash them, they didn't clean under the nails aren't cut right, you know, things of this nature. It's a little bit better now because of the COVID thing, and we'll washing our hands a little better. On the other hand, you know, some people don't still. Is the hair kempt or is it not kempt? And it has to be, you know, it can be a little bit roughed up and all that, but, you know, it has to be reasonably kempt. Or what if the hair is way overdone? You know, somebody walks in your office and maybe they, person looking, working in your office, they have orange or green stripes or red stripes going through it. You know, maybe that's okay. Maybe it's not okay. You know, you have to look at that and you got to think, well, okay, how is that going to make an impression on that person coming in? Well, you know, I've seen some people that actually they wear it pretty good and their personality's really good. So I didn't really think all that much of it because of the person's personality. I thought, well, that looks a little off, but it doesn't look bad and they have a great personality. But those are the things that you have to weigh against it. Does your clothing match what it is expected in the setting? You know, and this is, you know, there are books written on this, Dress for Success. And, you know, are they clean? Are they ruffled up? Are they wrinkled? Uh, should they be wearing lab jackets? Should everybody in the office be wearing white? Maybe the doctor is wearing a suit with a lab jacket over it, or maybe he's wearing scrubs. You know, scrubs are pretty accepted right now. And I've walked in offices and the front desk person was way overdressed, had a big flower here, had a big hairdo, and I'm going, whoa, that's just kind of overwhelming. So you have to look at those particular things. And how's the phone answered? Went over that. Is it deadpan? Is there voice inflection? Is it angry? Maybe they had a bad day and maybe they shouldn't even be on the phone that day. Okay. Because of things that are going on in their life. And, you know, it can really turn the person off on the other side of that line. And remember, there's only one rule in any business. People are there to get something from you, so they won't have to or can't do it themselves. That is business, period. If we could do everything ourselves, we don't need to go to anybody else to purchase it or get their services. It really is just that simple. So we are there to make our lives easier. Okay. Do you have what they want or need? And is your whole office an attractive setting from the very first call that comes in to when they walk in the door to how's everybody pleasant in the office? How's the presentation? They look around, everything looks, hey, this is a really nice office. It's, you know, it's not overly done, but it's clean. They walk in the restroom, you know, it's a clean restroom. All the doorknobs are cleaned off, all the light switches and light plates and, you know, all that stuff is clean. The windows are clean. The books and bookshelves are dusted off. You know, those are those impressions that you got to get. Now, if you want somebody's business, what really counts is all we've been talking about here is presentation. Do you have what they want or need? That's the big question. Do you appear to be the type of person or facility that they want to get it from? So this is all appearances. When I mentor someone, the first and only rule is if you are the person on the other side. So just imagine that you said something to somebody else. If you're that other person looking at you, if you're that other person looking at your office, okay, how would you react to what you just said if you were on the other side of your voice? How would you react to what you just saw? How would you react to what you just smelled? How would you react to what somebody just did? Guess what? That's what you do when you walk into somebody else's establishment or when someone comes to sell you something. So what's really holding you back in business is the perspective of the client's perception of you based on everything above here. So everything is perception one way or another. And that's the thing that you really got to get out of this, okay? Now, we're going to go back down here. And now, first off, I'm going to ask, are there any questions right now? So let's take any questions in the question box, in the chat box here. Give me some comments. Okay, let's have some comments in that chat box there. Y'all see the chat box? You can even unmute yourself and talk if you want to also. So you have David and you have MF, whoever MF is. You can both unmute and you can talk, or you can put something in that chat box there. First of all, did you understand everything that I put forth here? If so, okay. I agree. I've not looked at the office closely lately. Most of us don't. Okay, MF, whoever MF is, have you looked at your office lately? MF, is if you would be so kind as to type in that chat box, please. Maybe you're on the phone there. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to add? We just had a staff meeting and reorganized the front to make the front area better looking and easier to have the staff work. That's good. That's a good thing. Maybe everything's too busy. Maybe you got too many magazines out front. And you need to get rid of some old magazines. Maybe the magazines don't have things in them that you agree with. And that can be a problem. I saw an article in a chiropractic publication not long ago that basically said just that also. You have to look through all those publications because they may have a lot of stuff in there that you don't agree with, and it really should not be there, okay? Okay, welcome, Chana. Oh, you came in after we did the main presentation. So we're basically discussing here, Chana, that presentation is everything. From the very first time that somebody hears somebody on the phone, the voice inflection, whether it sounds like it's written out or not, if you're being friendly when you walk in the door, people look around, they look to see if it's clean, if there's spots in the carpet, if there's cola dumped on the sidewalk out front, if there's trash out front, there's dust on top of surfaces, if the light switch is cleaned off or not, or or the plate around the light switch, the clothes that you're wearing, the bathroom, how clean is it, the door jambs, all of that stuff. So it's all presentation here. Okay. So I have a propensity to talk politics because I care, but I've had to make myself shut up and talk health and their treatment goals. And I think that's going on a lot right now. And I've been guilty of that at different times as well. But but you never know who's in front of you. And I've had people in front of me that are way left, others that are way right, some people in the middle, some people hate Donald Trump, some people love Donald Trump, some people hate Fox, some people love Fox. And so you're right. You know, you really don't know who's in front of you, and you can just, they want to talk and you're going, yeah, I see your point here. Now, how's your headache? You know, let's get to work here. And because you don't know who's in front of you, you don't know their inclinations. If you argue on the wrong side, you're going to lose the patient. And I have been guilty of that, and I admit it. So you got to watch those things. Okay, Chana or MF here. Do you have any questions on anything on presentation? Have you looked at your offices lately? Have you looked at how you look, how you're dressed, how your staff looks, how they're dressed? Do you have staff that you need to get rid of because they have a bad attitude? They talk too loudly, they talk too softly, they have an accent that is not understandable on the phone or in person. You know, all these things count. Are they clean? Et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Now we get into all these things, and we're going to actually, every single thing that we're talking about here, we're going to get into in further Thursday talks as well. It's just that, you know, we can mention a lot of things here and give a general category of perception, but we just don't have time to investigate every single part of it. Now, certain of those things we've talked about and went into detail in previous Thursday talks. And I'm going to start putting those up probably instead of on the area of YouTube where you can't access them unless you're giving it to them. I'm probably going to put these talks over on the side where you can access them if you're a member. So I think it's going to probably go a little bit better that way. So start looking for these talks going into the public area. Okay. That way you can go and listen to them as many times as you want to. You don't have to per se have a specific link because it's up on my channel on YouTube. So look at that, and I'll probably be changing those posts over here, possibly starting next week that way. Okay, are there any other questions right now? Now, you may or may not know I give 4 different classes, and I also do mentorships. Now, 3 of those classes are on film now, and we can go into more things than I give in class because on the first 3, mainly because I don't have to stop and wait for people to work on each other. Okay. And that takes up, like in Texas, a whole 16 hours, you know, things like that. And you have to jam it in there. But here, we don't have to stop and wait for people to work on each other. So it's shorter, but I can cover more things. So basically, you can go to videos available. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3 are out. And if this is the first time you've heard of it, you can still get a pre-publication price of $250. Okay. It's going to be going up to $500. They're actually all in post-production now, so I'd get them that way if you can. The first one is on reflexes alone, no scar tissue involved. And go to my website, ttapcenter.com. You're going to see a whole slew of different conditions that we address there. And I would urge you to do that, a lot more than we can get into talking here today. So I'd urge you to go to Seminars Professional under ttapcenter.com. Go to part 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can see not only the discussion of a lot of things that we cover, but a lot of results, you know, that patients and doctors are getting. And we're going to start filming part 4 on Monday. and hopefully that will be out pretty soon. Then we'll have all 4 of those out, and then I'm going to be looking to put them on continuing education that way also. But here you can view them for a year for that $250 and just watch them as many times you want. Now, a big benefit of this also, I urge you to watch it all the way through, but just below where it is, we have timestamps, and you click on it and it drops everything down. You can look at a category. If you didn't get it and you want to see it again, you hit the time on the timestamp and it'll take you right there. You don't even have to search for it. So we're making it very, very easy for you to get at that way. And I also do mentoring, and here are some mentoring testimonials. Dr. B's mentoring program is second to none. The wealth of knowledge, wealth of expertise shared has made me a much more thorough and streamlined doctor. And we talk about a variety of things there. We talk about basically how to oversee your employees, hiring and firing, associates the same way, how to advertise, how to market, how to treat people. A big thing that docs like is we show you how to be more profitable. I have a doc that I've been mentoring a little over a year. He has a practice, before I even got a hold of him, in excess of $1 million. Well, following the principles we gave him, he doubled his profitability in that first year, and that's quite a bit. And normally the people that we mentor can experience about a 40% to 50% increase in growth in the first 3 months. And basically, you know, you get a lot of stuff out of it, and they like that I've developed my own techniques that really streamline their practice and get these results. So they can also come to me and say, well, I'm having trouble treating a patient in this way. What would you suggest I do? Okay. Well, because I developed these techniques, I can say, okay, and we have you go to the different things, which we'll be seeing here in a minute. And I say, okay, let's go to here, and we go over how to do it. And that way they get the repetition. As we all know, repetition is a big part of learning, okay? He's provided so many solutions to so many problems and conditions, including a new way of thinking, way outside the box when it comes to healthcare, taking care of our dear patients. Thank you, okay? He's out in California. Here's Dr. Bonebreak's mentorship program is the best investment I ever made. I thought I was a good doctor before meeting Dr. Bonebreak. And he goes through this, and he starts seeing all the things, these techniques that I teach, how quick they are and how less effort it is to get the results. So it's easier on the doctor, it's easier on the patient. And this doctor is from Ohio. Since mentorship with Dr. Bonebreak, I've seen several improvements in my practice. I see patients getting their desired results by using his treatment methods, help me to reduce the amount of time I spend with the patient while getting better outcomes. Help me modify my internal office paperwork for employee and patient management. And this doctor is from Illinois. I wasn't sure if I needed a mentor, as I already thought my business was very successful. And he says that he attended my seminars and he can't believe the things that it did to help his practice. And this doctor is right here in Texas. I'm currently mentoring about a dozen people, and we're going to talk about that next. So the main thing about both the seminars and what I'm doing here is I want you to be successful, okay? That's the big thing. I want you to be successful. And that's why I'm not charging for these Thursday things. Yeah, I got a couple of things to sell, and that's repetition, but I'm giving you a whole lot of free information here because I want to see you succeed. Now, the mentoring I do, let me just tell you the difference between practice management, practice consulting. Okay, these people may or may not have even been in practice. They may or may not have had a successful practice. That's practice management and consulting. If you've taken a lot, and I've taken 32 of them, I can tell you there is not a whole lot of difference between them. Okay. Coaching, you can be a coach never having done anything. And you can look at, say, a track and field coach, somebody who's never pole vaulted. They kind of know the mechanics. They've watched people pole vault and they can kind of tell you how to do it, but they've never actually done it themselves. Mentoring is a way different thing. Mentoring means I've been there. I've been through the successes. I've been through the failures. You know, we're in the COVID-19 right here. Well, in 2001, in 911, when most practices went down 30 to 50%, some up to 70%, mine went up 1,700%. I started averaging 600 new patient calls every single month, and I've seen people from all 50 states and 97 countries. I've treated 12 professional sports teams, 3 of them foreign national teams. I've also been on the medical and scientific board of 6 major nutrition companies, helping to formulate things like that. I have a lot of credentials, and I've been those places. I've been the successes, I've been the failures. I look at my job in total is to be a shortcut for you, whether it's showing you how to get results in practice, treating somebody, it's a shortcut of knowledge, or anything having to do with how to run your office. I'm there to shortcut it through you or for you so you don't have to go through what I did to get that knowledge. I've invested over $1.5 million into seminars. And at one time for several years, I bought and read cover to cover every month $1,000 worth of technical books and literature in order to get this stuff. So basically, I want to bring it down for you to make it easier for you to make a transition to become successful and to become quicker and become more proficient and to take care of things that maybe you haven't been able to take care of before. So it's a good fit for everybody. This program enables you to become top level, rapid, efficient patient response with scientific methodology found in medical literature. Everything that I do in practice, everything I do in seminars, I back up with medical literature. Not only because you need to know where I'm coming from, also, if you happen to go before the board, you get in a malpractice suit, you better have something to back up what you did. So I back up everything. I have gobs and gobs of literature for everything that I show you. So you want to become a nerve and a biochemistry expert. Now, the first seminar, as I stated, is on reflexes alone. And you just got to look at the things. I mean, there's just a massive amount of things that we show you in that seminar. Basically, you want to do that before you start looking at dense scar tissue. The second seminar, which we just finished in Texas for about third or fourth time, is dense scar tissue outside the joint. And basically, ART and Graston transverse friction massage have kind of hypnotized us into believing that everything has dense scar tissue associated with it. In part 1, you learn that there's nothing further from the truth. The first part of part 4, or part 2 rather, is the first 4 hours we show you how to very easily, within 10 minutes, muscle test over 200 muscles, lightly touch one of those muscles, and all the muscles come strong. So therefore, in applied kinesiology, you don't have to go from muscle to muscle to do it. It happens immediately. The only exception being if you have an extreme amount of atrophy in the muscle, it's going to take a little longer to come along. The second part there is pressing, palpating the whole body. No matter how many painful spots, i.e. trigger points that you palpate, we show you how to find one spot on that patient touch them like this and palpatory pain is gone. The only exception is if there's an extreme amount of inflammation. That'll even go down. The pain will go down by half immediately, and it'll take a little longer to calm down. This saves you from going trigger point to trigger point. In other words, this saves a whole lot of visits. And then we go into rehab in part 2. We show you how to rehab somebody in about 1/4 of the time it normally takes. We show you all the processes to get there. Then we show you, unlike ART, which teaches in their seminars, it takes 4 to 6 muscles to clear out a muscle. In Graston, 6 to 10. In transverse friction massage, right in Cyriac's manual, it says 10 to 20 visits to clear out a muscle. We show you how to normally do it in 1. Instead of taking 10 or 20 minutes, we show you how to do it in a matter of seconds. So it's a lot easier on you, a lot less pain to the patient. Okay, so it's very quick, very jaw-dropping results. So that's part 2. Now, after you've taken care of the dense scar tissue outside the joint, now you have to address the dense scar tissue inside the joint. That's part 3 that's coming up in Texas. The first class is in Austin this weekend, by the way. Then we're going to go to DFW, San Antonio, Houston, Lubbock. Basically, we show you how to, a lot easier than you ever imagined, adjust joints. And we go into the cranials, the pelvis, the vertebra, the upper and lower extremities. Okay, so the thoracic cage, and we show you just amazing results. I mean, you think you're enthused about chiropractic now, wait until you see the things that are involved there. And again, you see a whole laundry list of things if you go on my website, ttapcenter.com, seminars professional, and it shows you just a whole litany of things that we teach in that seminar. And again, those 3 are already available in their entirety on films, as we just discussed. Now, the first 3 are aimed at taking care of the nervous system. Okay, now the nervous system, according to Guyton, controls the secretory and excretory events of the body. So basically, as you go through parts 1, 2, and 3, you see a whole lot of things clear up biochemically that maybe you've been having trouble with patients. You've changed their diet, you've changed their exercise levels, you've given them vitamins, minerals, enzymes, herbs, et cetera, and they're just not clearing up. Well, maybe it was a nervous system issue. And we see a lot of people, majority of things that happen in those first 3 parts, clear up the biochemical issues without ever having to address biochemistry directly, okay? Because it's a nervous system issue. Now, part 4 is pure biochemistry. And we talk about biochemical individuality here. So here, this is pure biochemistry, and we address this in a lot different way. And in all of these seminars, we show you things that you already know but didn't know that you could apply them. The first thing that I ask you to do in every seminar that I give is forget what you thought you knew, because there's probably an easier and quicker way to do it. Okay? Again, my job is to provide a shortcut to you, to be easier on you and quicker in your results, both on your patients, your office, acquiring new patients, all of that sort of thing, getting referrals. So part 4, we take you through chemical processes. Now, basically what we're taught is you have this symptom, you take this vitamin, this mineral, this enzyme, this herb. But there's something called a negative feedback loop. Basically, if there's too much of this being produced, then the signal goes back and says, let's cut back on the precursor or stop the precursor, okay? So you have this whole litany of things that are going on. For example, you have somebody with an electrolyte issue. Now, we think of electrolytes, we say, okay, there's an electrolyte issue, let's give them electrolytes. Now, I'm not overtly against that. However, the androgens, are the things that control electrolytes. Progesterone controls androgens. Pregnenolone controls progesterone. Vitamin D controls pregnenolone. Cholesterol controls vitamin D. Okay. Now, pregnenolone produces DHEA and progesterone. Both of those control the production of, guess what? Testosterone. So now you have somebody with a low T or zero T, and you keep giving them precursors to testosterone, or they go to a clinic and they get it. Well, it may be somewhere in this whole litany of the negative feedback system. You may have to intervene 2 or 3 steps before or 2 or 3 steps after. After progesterone, guess what? There's estrogen. If the body perceives there's too much estrogen, guess what? It shuts down the production of pregnenolone, no matter how much vitamin D you have there. Okay? So we see people shoveling vitamin D into people. The body is not going to convert it into pregnenolone because it's already got too much phytoestrogens and xenoestrogens. So it doesn't want to produce that. And that's going to affect the production of DHEA and progesterone or testosterone and androgens. And guess what? Progesterone also affects the production of cortisone. So this affects inflammation and swelling. Now, basically, we are taught to give people stuff to suppress the inflammation, okay? And I don't overtly have a problem with that, but let's look at this loop here. And while you're giving them that short term, let's take care of where the real problem is, and we have to nail where that is. We also look at, even though you're eating something, you may not be digesting it. You may not be absorbing it. Even if all those things happen, it may not be transported correctly. Even if that happens, it's not making it through the cell wall. Even if that happens, it's not making it through the nuclear or the mitochondrial membrane. And we get into all of these things. And we address a whole litany of things in part 4, okay? That's what we're going to start filming. Now, in the preeminence mentoring, you know, we talk about all sorts of stuff like this. We show you how to get referrals from everywhere, how to get paid what you're worth, low stress, better family time. Others committed and changed your lives. You're, isn't it time that you did too? Now, I want you to just close your eyes and imagine having the business of your dreams. What would you consider ideal in your office? Okay. Smooth running, plenty of highly satisfied and enthusiastic patients, as many as you want, financial security, time to enjoy your family, time to exercise regularly, great health. There's three reasons that preeminence mentoring works for you. You'll devote effort, time, and dedication to get what you want. Charisma is not necessary. If you haven't figured out just by watching me today, I don't have great charisma. I pretty much talk monotone. I don't have any of that stuff, but I had what it took to get all those referrals, to have that great a practice, okay? And we have group or one-on-one mentoring, both of them very affordable. So your next step is to commit to be superlative. So you go to the link, ttapcenter.com, choose the mentoring level that fits you, and commit yourself to change your life. Now there's a 12-month group mentoring. Here you have a group of doctors. It's only $250 a month, or just a single payment of $2,500 for 12 months, saves you $500. Guess what? You get a year of 1 hour weekly real time with group interactive podcasts. So I'm interacting with all of you. You're all asking questions. You get to hear the answers from everybody else. You get to chime in and say, hey, well, I'm having this problem. And then I give you that answer. So everybody benefits from the questions that everybody else have and the answers that we give. And so you have all of that. Now, if in the first 3 months you want to convert to go to 1 year one-on-one mentorship, you can do that, okay? Now, 6-month one-on-one mentoring. It's $1,000 a month or one payment of $4,000. And a lot of people like to fill me out, so they do this first. I have several that are doing this. You, $1,000 a month or one payment of $4,000, which saves you $2,000. You get everything, the one-on-one mentoring, okay? We talk about any aspect of your practice, but guess what? It's all me and you one-on-one. And you're not sitting there listening to everybody else. It's all directed toward you, okay? And I'm gonna help you individually this way. And it's 26 weeks of 1 hour one-on-one with me. And we set the time and we just do it every week. And finally, it's the 12-month one-on-one mentoring. You get one call a week, 52 weeks. It's $1,000 a month or one payment of $8,000, which saves you $4,000. This includes all 4 of the films, okay? So you're gonna get a whole year of each one of those films. Plus we're gonna, when I get done with the films, I'm gonna create a link that can go to your website. And basically, I have thousands and thousands of testimonials of doctors and patients from parts 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, as to benefits they've received or their patients have received. And we're going to make it so somebody can go on that and click on an individual condition, and it'll take them right by, and they will see doctors saying, hey, you know, I had a patient with this. This is the results. The patient said, I had it, this how bad it was. This is the results I got. Okay. So basically what that does is you can say, well, okay, I took that course, and now it's just you saying, not just you saying you can do something, but they're seeing that, hey, these other doctors took the course, these patients benefited, these are results they saw. So I did this for all 4 of mine. And the baseline of it was I put it up on my website, and I found that I sent out emails to all my patients, hey, go to this link and look at it. Here's part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So they did, and they saw things that they did not know that I could help. So they called up and they said, hey, I need to come in. I see you can help this. I didn't know that. And prospective patients go on there and they say, wow, you know, this doctor's doing this stuff. Look at all the results other doctors who do it and patients who got it are experiencing. Well, guess what? I experienced an average for each section, 20 new patients a month. That's 80 a month, and 20 re-ups for patients a month. That's 160 patients a month, just by making this, you know, so people could go on and look at it. And they see, wow, look at what's going on with that. Maybe I need to go to that doctor. You also, and even if you don't want to go into mentoring, we're going to offer for courses that you have taken, you'll be able to do any given link for $50 a month. And that's really cheap for what you get off of it. New patients you get off of it. Doctor blog. We're going to establish a doctor's blog. It's going to be $50 per doctor. Guess what? You're in this 12-month one-on-one mentoring. You get that link for a year for free. You get the doctor's blog for free. Here you get to interact with other doctors that are in the mentorship program. So this is the elite of the elite. And you're on there and you're saying, hey, I'm having trouble with this patient. What did you do about this? If you want me to chime in, hey, we can't figure this out, what would you do? So I put my 2 cents in there too. And this just reinforces things. Again, it's a repetition. And I know that all of you have techniques that I don't use. However, you will be able to benefit from other doctors that use techniques that I don't use either. But there's going to be a blog for each section. Okay. So you're going to be able to do that. Now, basically, I'm just asking you to commit to your dream practice. That's what the mentoring's about. That's what the film's about. That's what the seminars are about. And basically, business results depend on effort and following directions. You got to lose your excuses and take consistent action to improve. If you'll do this, sign up. If not, please don't. I give you information and encouragement, but you have to take the action in the end to improve your own life. Okay? Now, here's the chat box. Do you have any questions before we call it a night? We've been here a little bit over an hour. So if you would type in if you have any questions at all. Do you have any questions at all about the films, about the mentoring, about the seminars, about anything that we went over today? Do you have any questions about anything in your office that I could help you with right at this point? Just tap it in that chat box, right? Type it in that chat box right there. Okay, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds. If you don't type something in that chat box, we're going to call it a day. Okay. Okay, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And we're going to have another class next Thursday at 8 o'clock. And if you have any questions at all on the mentoring or the films or whatever, just give me a call. And my number is 469-995-9907, or my email is drBBRK@hotmail.com. Okay. So take that down. I'll leave it up there for a few more minutes. And I appreciate you being here. Tell your friend doctors to get on here, because basically I'm here to give you free information to help you improve your practice, help you get through difficult times, get your practice where you want to go, maybe help you in your personal life also. Okay, one more time, 469-995-9907. Email drBBRK@hotmail.com. Okay, thank you very much for participating, and we will see you in the future, I hope. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.